You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Welcome to the forecast, where we review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, four different perspectives. It is the three cast tonight. King Dog will not be on. He is tied up.
And I promise I'm getting a taller chair because I have this big 48-inch screen. So, excuse me.
So he is tied up tonight. But we're gonna rock with the three of us. And we're reviewing tonight, and this was a recommendation by a friend of the show. He's on BS3 Network, Al High. Yes, he said, in the wake of OJ passing away recently, you guys should review OJ Made in America, which is a 5-part series. I've watched it when it came out originally. I think it was 2016. Yeah. But I figured this would actually be something good to tap back into and get our thoughts, obviously, with his passing. And they're gonna talk about a lot of things about OJ's life. So yeah, looking forward to tonight. We missed a couple of weeks covering the stars and life and things of that nature. So we are back. And hey, Trap, man, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Y'all, I'm good, man.
Yeah. No, I gotta ask for the people.
Yeah,
the people want to know.
Yeah,
me, man.
Wilkes, you doing good?
Yeah, doing all right. Yeah, doing okay. Been a minute. Ready to get. This is a great one, I think, to come back on. Especially, I think I mentioned this when we went to this little break that we had. Everything was immediately. OJ Simpson has passed, and they were immediately showing the trial, the courtroom. It's like, okay, I get it. That's one aspect of his life, but So yeah, no, it's a good one. I did not watch this originally when it came out. I was aware of it, and then of course they tried to hit you with the Cuba Gooding Jr. version, which was just stop. Not even a version. It was just whatever.
That was not one of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s best acting roles. And then they had the guy from Friends.
Yeah,
was that David Arquette? Swimmer. They had him playing Kim Kardashian's dad, and that was bad too. So yeah, don't watch that one. That's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about OJ Made in America. It's 30 for 30.
30 for 30.
It's on Netflix. I'm not sure how long it is on Netflix. I think they recently brought it back.
Yeah.
So you can definitely check it out there. We'll be reviewing it. Also, side note, Cat Williams dropped his comedy special. Little tidbit, I watched about the first.
I'm getting one of those typical, it's not funny.
Was not feeling it at all. I wasn't feeling it. Also, there's a Tom Brady roast. That's it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes. I watched the first 10 minutes. It's hilarious so far, and it's a roast, and they're not holding back. So those are a couple side notes, man. We got a lot of things we could be reviewing after this, so stay tuned. So OJ Made in America Part 1. Kind of initial thoughts, and I'll also ask, A-Trap, I'm gonna come to you first. Did you watch this initially when it came out back in 2016?
Oh, indeed, I did. But it was interesting. It was worth the watch. You're looking at a situation to whereas you went from the classy and klutzy to from sugar to the other word. And what I heard recently about this, his entire life was, I forgot the name of the project, because OJ Simpson comes from the projects in San Francisco.
Yep.
And I heard another tragic story about an athlete that made it and ended up in the penitentiary. And I was like, wow, how droll to sum up a Hall of Famer's life. Yeah. And those terms, those uncertain terms. And it's kind of sad, but we'll get into it as we proceed. It's kind of sad, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, initial thoughts, Wilkes. You did not watch it, like you said, back in 2016.
Yeah, I did not watch it originally. I mean, watching it now, it definitely, opened my eyes to thing, being as, I guess you could say, as young as I am, 43. It's one of those, his football career was long behind him. So I knew the Hollywood OJ and the commercials and the commentary on NBC. So I'm enjoying it. I like to see this aspect. Of course, they immediately want to go. In most cases, they want to go to the trial, the big thing.
Right.
Or even even when he was re-jailed with another mishap, I think took place in Vegas or something like that. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I think OJ, in a sense, I feel like OJ was almost kind of stepping outside of himself to create something that was going to be long lasting. I think he believed OJ Simpson, that name. I believe he was that was a mantra, that was a figure, like that was a blueprint of how can I be successful. So I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. And shame I didn't watch them when it first came out, but I'm getting on it now. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I think and that's a perfect segue. The opening quote was OJ wanted to be famous more than have money. And I think that kind of breaks down his life. If you look at everything that happened throughout his entire life, he became famous. And I mean, the money came, but he became famous for a variety of different reasons. You look at his football career, you look at his post-football career with acting. We were talking about what me and Wilkes know him from, which is the Hertz commercials. And I know him from Naked Gun. I remember him in that.
Yeah,
I mean, which was like that dumb, funny.
Was he in an Airplane? I know he was in Naked Gun, but
he wasn't in Airplane.
Okay, it was Naked Gun. I mean, he was in a few of those. And like I said, I remember him from NBC, when they would go to halftime, he was a part of the panel. So I remember that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the OJ I know, the post football career.
And I think for me being a sports fan growing up, I just heard the stories of OJ, like from my parents and from other older people, but I didn't know, what his career was like.
Right.
But A-Trap, give me your thoughts on that quote. He wanted to be famous more than have money.
But see, okay, when we talk about historic figures, I think we need to take because today you can be famous, we can be famous, we're famous. I've literally had people walk up to me in Chicago and say, "Enter the bench." No BS.
Yeah.
I have people walk up to me and point at me and say, "Enter the bench." So in essence, I'm famous. But today, you can be famous and not have a dime. In the 70s, when you were famous, you had cake. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We can't look at it from the perspective of 2024 politics.
Right.
Because if you were famous in 1975, if you were famous in 1972, some cash came along with that. So it's kind of disingenuous to make it seem as if all Juice wanted to be was famous. Because if we really want to look at this with some perspective, OJ Simpson was making probably $100K a year, and he had enough money. He made enough money when you wasn't making money to still be rich 30 years later.
Yeah.
Here we are, 50 years, 45 years after OJ's best game. And when he died, he did not die a pauper. So that's a bit disingenuous to say he wanted to be, because then if you see somebody on TV regularly, they were getting that cake, man.
Yeah.
No, but then again, I wondered, did OJ even understand what he was saying by being famous? I mean, he became more than famous, which A-Trap, you probably could argue that. I don't think, I guess at the time to him, famous was like he said, I want people to, and which reminded me of One Night in Miami. He said he wanted people to come up to him and say, "Oh, hey, OJ, what's going on?" That was kind of like when Muhammad Ali in One Night in Miami, he was walking into the convenience store and they were like, "Hey, what's going on, champ?" He's walking around. I think he I think he wanted that fame, but it became more than what he could probably control. And I think it was just coming at him so fast. And he didn't understand, like, yeah, you want to be famous, but there are people that have money and people that they can open certain doors for. We can take you beyond fame. You know, we can take you to God status if you want it to be, you know.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted.
I mean, but that's what he had. I mean,
yeah.
First football jersey I wore was number 32 because of OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to be the Juice. When you were if you're my age, you wanted to be the Juice, man. The Juice was the man. I mean,
this was the I want to be like Mike. Well, it's I want to be OJ.
Yeah. And see, like when I came up, if you wanted to play football, you wanted to be the Juice.
Right.
If you wanted to play basketball, you wanted to be the Doctor. If you wanted to play baseball, you wanted to be Reggie Jackson. We wasn't really caring about their personal lives. We just, as children, we just assumed
because they look like superheroes.
Exactly.
They were superheroes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he was the first kind of sports figure, getting the endorsement deals, doing commentating, acting. I mean, he was like a Renaissance man, really, at a level that nobody really seen at that point in time.
Exactly.
And so, he definitely got what he wanted. 100%. It wasn't like it wasn't like what he said didn't happen. He got exactly what he said. Real quick, StreamYard has changed some settings. You cannot go live to Facebook groups anymore. So for those of you that normally tune in the BS3 Network Facebook group, I did share it to that page. Also, those that normally tune in on the End of the Bench Facebook group, you can go to the YouTube, the End of the Bench YouTube. And so they did make some changes, but there's workarounds to it.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. It's easy. It's sweet.
Okay.
The sad thing is, if they do watch inside those groups, they can no longer comment, but they can't watch. So I don't even share my group anymore.
Black Swan in the building. Thank you for tuning in. I haven't seen you in a while. I know. Congratulations to I believe that's your nephew, Caleb Williams, that got drafted by the Bears. I wish him the best.
All the way, baby.
Yeah. So he was in jail when this was taped. So that tells you how long ago this was. That was during that period of time. Yeah. Like Wilk said, when he was jailed for another reason for stealing his own merchandise, quote unquote. And so I just think, and to tap on that real quick, they wanted to get him on something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was the way to get him in jail, and probably to the very end. Yeah. His ex-wife's parents were going after him probably till he died, and they were trying to get that money that they, that was. I think we'll talk about that later on. Yeah. But yeah, they wanted that money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So OJ from go ahead.
No, I mean it wasn't gonna happen. I mean, when you had that type of cake, man, you understand how to protect it. You understand how to protect it from potential women who are chasing you, predators and things of that nature. So
I mean, just the initials alone, OJ, are going to be infamous forever.
That's iconic.
It's like, I mean, whether it's, like I said, his football career to his trial and then kind of his jail time, because they didn't really trial the second one, but the trial of the century, as they were calling it. I mean, that name alone, just OJ, and then Simpson behind that. I mean, it's just going to always, that name is going to be forever, solidified. It's going to be seared into memories and minds and history. So I think, honestly, as I look at it now on this side of the future, I don't know if he realized that on the side of the past that, I want to be famous. I don't think he realized what he was. Nobody can really realize, but I think, he wanted to build something, but man, it transcended further than what he could probably even imagine. I mean, even when he got out, I mean, his Twitter page, they were hungry. Like, what is OJ doing? What is OJ
to the
doing?
world.
Yeah, I mean, it's OJ, baby. We got to know what's going on, So, yeah, I think when he spoke those things, you don't know at the time what magnitude it's taking, but it just became bigger than him.
Yeah, and he was even on It Is What It Is, the podcast with Mace and Cameron. I think up until the end. So man, you're talking about decades. You're talking about different generations. You're talking about
we got
reinventing
OJ
yourself.
rap music out here, man.
Yeah,
OJ's got name drops and rap music. Come on, man.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
So growing up in San Francisco, and he went to San Francisco, City of San Francisco College, I believe is what the name of it was. And growing up in the Bay Area, that is a junior college that star athletes go to. So that's not one of those like Rudy Poo colleges. They go there, then they transfer to another school. So I felt like that was a pretty dope homage to that school, because there's a lot of athletes that have gone there. And then from there going to USC, and really USC being a all-white campus, he was like he was the hero. He was the golden boy. Yeah.
Couldn't do no wrong.
Right. And he knew that. And I think that's kind of where the story starts. It didn't really talk about his childhood. It did a little bit when his friend came in and they kind of went to San Francisco and everything. But that was kind of where the story started. And I think that's where he knew, like, I am bigger than the school. I am bigger than the game. And I think that's when his mindset maybe shifted, or maybe it was already there. I don't know. You can't really tell. But give me your thoughts on that, A-Trap. I see you.
Oh no, I'm just listening. I mean, I think OJ gets a bad rap, to be perfectly honest. OJ gets this rap of in essence, a sellout, so to speak.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I don't know if we can label him a sellout. I've heard several big time running backs who came through the system, who came through LA, and they commend OJ. And I've heard a lot of people speak on behalf of, he was the type of brother that would grab a brother, put him up on his wing, and educate him on how to do. Marcus Allen and Eric Dickerson being two of those guys. So OJ gets this bad rep of being a dude who just shunned the community. I believe OJ, much like a lot of people in the United States of America, when they get hold to that power structure, they hobnob with the power structure to maintain that status. I don't know if I want to call him a sellout per se. Did he kind of turn his back on the community? Of course he did. Most people who get successful, they do turn their back on their communities. A lot of people do that. It is a very few individuals that go back and reach back and put their hands in the mud and help people. So I think he gets this bad rap as a guy who's not community focused. Whereas if he hadn't killed this lady,
allegedly,
if he hadn't been accused of killing this lady, sorry, OJ, rest in peace. If he hadn't been accused of killing this lady, OJ Simpson, the day before this happened, OJ Simpson was the guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody was talking about, oh man, this dude a sucker. He was the guy. So I don't think we should see him in that, view him in that aspect. Hey man, I'm from the projects. I'm not saying I would have been hobnobbing with the good old boys, but I understand how you can get caught up, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think to also to H-Rap's, to piggyback and to H-Rap's point, I think OJ realized that this thing is going to eventually become something that is bigger than me. It's enough out here for me, like he said, Marcus Allen and
Dixon.
He's going to pass that knowledge on, how to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Even his friend Allen, he told him, he's like, it's one of these things where there's enough out here for all of us to get this fame or this recognition or this information out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it's going to be bigger than me. And if it starts with me, somehow, if I can put it out here, and as you, H-Rap, always hear me say, put it where the ghost can get it. If OJ can put it where the ghost can get it, shout out to Black Eagle.
Black Eagle,
It's
that's
one of
the
those
thing.
things where it's just like, man, I don't need to feel selfish and greedy with this thing, you know. And I think it's like you said, he gets a bad rap for that, for other reasons because of the trial and what happened, and it's looming over him. But I saw, like, when I saw those pictures of him, you know, posing in his uniform, I saw a person, because we make mistakes. We make terrible mistakes. We make catastrophic mistakes. We've succumbed to some things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away, and it shouldn't take away from the legacy of the person, especially when they've tried to pull others up with them, even though they may have come from the bottom of the bottom, the lowest of the low. But I think as a society also, it is a normal thing to ridicule, and put that person in that corner. They be like, oh, he's a murderer. Oh, he's a child molester. Yes, I understand. Despicable, terrible. But it's one of those things too, where it's like, man, this person lived a life and they were sick. They needed help. They didn't know how to get this help. They didn't realize they could get help. They didn't want the help. There's both sides. So I think, you know, just seeing those somber moments of him, and it's just like, you know, yeah, even if he would have been, you know, jailed until he died, or even if he just died of natural causes, I mean, it's still one of those legacies where it's like, man, it's OJ.
Yeah.
You know, I think he transcended. I don't think he realized when he said, "Oh, I want to be famous." Of course, we can't realize that because we're speaking in a presence, in a now sense. But man, it is piercing the future if we can keep building those blocks.
Yeah.
Get this. Part of the reason I'm on air right now is OJ. I used to watch OJ, as y'all did, on Sunday morning pregame shows.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
look what I said. I looked at the TV. My mom asked me when I was 10. I said, hey, she said, what you want to be when you grow up? So I'm changing my number from 44 to 32. She said, you don't like Reggie Jackson anymore? I said, no. She like OJ? I was like, nah. I say, when I get 32, I'm going to leave the NFL and I'm going to take OJ's job.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't, you know, and I'm like, I looked at the television. I never thought about famous. You know what I thought about? Flat laziness kicked in. I said, wait, I went to work with my mother last month. She got to work at 8:45. She started at 9. These dudes wear shirts and ties like my mother. They probably make more money than my mother because they on TV. They wear shirts and ties, they making money, and they work 1 day a week. I'm thinking they get there at 8:45. They leave at 12 when the game come on. I'm like, I'm sitting at the crib all week.
He didn't understand the behind the scenes. So we got to go to work.
Practice and preparation.
Yeah.
So, you know, so of course that's the mind of a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah.
But if OJ saw, I want to be famous, that means OJ took a 22-year-old mentality, 22-year-old mind, the mind of a 22-year-old, and extrapolated that into fame and fortune, because again, OJ Simpson was not broke when he died.
Well, no,
OJ Simpson got sold for $33 million and didn't pay a dime of it. That means OJ Simpson, along the way, he picked up several thousand breadcrumbs and put it together for a cake.
If anything, it probably quadrupled that.
Exactly.
And now that he died, guess what? His memorabilia is even more.
Yeah. I think he was one of the first players. You know, this term is brought up where, you know, promote your brand, promote your image. So now it's the norm. When you see an athlete, LeBron's a prime example. He got his own logo. He's got his own media company. Like KD, he has his own brand. I mean, all of these athletes are a brand, and he's seen that. And that, I think that was the reason why it was like, I'm not black, I'm OJ, because I'm this brand. I'm not
I don't.
included in whatever it is. Yeah, hold
Yeah.
my beer. There you go. I'm not included in whatever y'all doing because that's gonna hurt my brand. But I don't.
Yeah.
He didn't
Right.
say it that way. But that's essentially what he was doing, which was really ahead of his time in another way.
Yeah. And to Ben's point, I mean, I was when I heard that and I was watching what was going on, and A-Trap can speak to this more than I could probably understand. I felt like when we watched Louis Armstrong, they went to those juggernauts because they had the platform. Like, hey, this is what's going on down in Alabama and Mississippi. Well, what's happening? To Louis Armstrong, it's like, wait a minute. Look, I'm putting on these shows at these palaces and these nightclubs and these juke joints. I was like, don't come to me with no mess. But then, OJ was the same way. He's like, yeah, I get it. I understand what's happening. But look, I also understand that, okay, I have a brand that I'm trying to build, but that doesn't make me, oblivious to what is happening. Right. All these, I mean, even the stark realities they were showing. OJ is accepting this while they're talking about RFK got assassinated, and what was going on. It was like, this is what's happening right now. It was almost like two universes colliding in that moment.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like Arthur Ashe. We watched the Arthur Ashe story. And once again, we're reaching out to a juggernaut that doesn't know he's a juggernaut yet. It's like, hey, how do you feel about what's going on? And I think that's just media throughout the years, period, throughout the decade, throughout our lives. Hey, what do you have to say about this? Well, I really don't know what's going on with that right now. I can't speak on to that, but I know today, hey, I got a triple double, something like, that kind of aspect. So, I mean, OJ was definitely building the brand. And I think all his life, I think people realized he was trying to. I mean, look at Hurts. Hurts even said we wouldn't have been as big as we are without OJ running through the airport.
And I wonder too, because there's a lot of athletes that are on the front line. So you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you look at Jim Brown, you look at the athletes they mentioned, but there's some, and A-Trap, you talked about this. There's some that are behind that are financially helping push the movement forward. So I wonder, which they didn't talk about, was OJ helping in that manner, or was he completely moved?
Oh no, he was completely moved. OJ Simpson was invited to the 1968 Muhammad Ali Athletic Summit. When you got people like Ernie Sims, you got people like Jim Brown, you got people like Muhammad Ali. Well, it's focused on Muhammad Ali. A young junior in college, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, Lou Alcindor at the time, he converted to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And OJ again, it goes back to realizing what you're up against. Do I want to deal with potential abject poverty, or do I want to keep these doors open? It's almost when we speak negatively of OJ Orenthal James Simpson, what we fail to realize is this: Orenthal James Simpson, whether we like him or not, he is in essence and I know if my man Craig is watching, he's gonna yell at me later on, but I'm ready for it, dog. He almost the spook that sat outside the door. Because OJ made it palatable he made it safe for athletes not to speak up. Because you got Jim Brown. What people don't realize, I'm not gonna get into that. Jim Brown, he blacking in the back of your neck, right? You got Muhammad Ali blacking in the back of your neck. You got my man, the late great Bill Russell, super black. And then you got the Juice saying, I'm gonna get this paper. But again, when you got the Marcus Allen's coming along, you got the Eric Dixon, the other athletes coming along, and he's saying, hey, well, what was the young blood? To me, without saying it, they showed us. The sellout that OJ has been labeled, he's not. Because what was that dude named Ken Hit? Ken Hit is a young man. And OJ saying, man, this dude's brother
Oh, yeah.
Celebrating young black athletes. He didn't grab a white boy and say, hey, this white boy is the boy. He grabbed a young brother. So whereas OJ not shaking the pom-poms, he ain't got the black fist, he ain't black power, he's doing it in other ways.
Right.
Eric Dickerson, media guy. Marcus Allen, the media guy. Both of those guys, neither of those three guys, none of those guys had a $12 million a year day. And all three of them look as if they will be paid until they are no longer here.
And Marcus Allen became pretty popular with NBC. He was down. They had him eventually. He was down on the field calling the game. I mean, not calling him, but they asked his. Yeah, he was a reporter. He was down on the field, and then eventually they brought Eric Dickerson in, and he was inside the studio. Mm-hmm. So eventually they were following in those footsteps of what OJ was doing. I mean, OJ, there were times where he wasn't in the studio. He would be on site at the games. Mm-hmm. I remember those things about OJ, and that's why I said I remember the Hollywood and the commentary and the reporter OJ. Mm-hmm. I have to honestly say, when I heard about this trial of the century and the murders that had taken place in the Bronco on TV, I was a little surprised. I was like, oh wow, OJ's kind of, like what? Like what? But all things. I mean, that's just typical, being that age. But
and so was there someone before OJ that was doing sideline reporting in the booth that looked like us?
I don't think so.
Not that I know of. Not that I can think of. I mean,
there. He.
You would have thought Muhammad Ali would have, but he was still boxing.
That's what I was thinking too. Maybe it was him, but he's seen the potential, and I think he was the one that ran with it. There are probably people that seen it, but they were like, that means I'm gonna have to give up something. That means I'm gonna have to not take a stand against certain things. Mm-hmm. So he went left when a lot of people were going right. Was really what it came down to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think if you look at his backstory too, growing up in the poverty that he grew up in, and a lot of athletes can speak to this, where they, I moved my mama out of the hood. Why would I jeopardize my money to when I took my family from really nothing or from poverty,
from ashy to glass.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, there you go.
And you got people like Young Me. Young Me would have criticized. What I didn't criticize OJ. I wouldn't have. I did. I'm like, man, see, this was wrong. But I was 20. I was 20 in my 20s. I was dumb. At this time, my son was 2. I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
So, and then I was being led by people like the late great Jim Brown. I'm like Jim Brown saying it must be true, but then it's different ways to skin a cat. You got Martin King, Malcolm X. Martin King he went nonviolence. People identify Malcolm X with violence, but is it violent to defend yourself?
Right.
So
did he ever shoot somebody? They make it seem like he massacred people.
Yeah,
he was defending his house and his family.
Right. Yeah. They immediately want to make him he's the aggressor. And it's like, I'm not the aggressor, but I'm going to stand for what I believe in and what I'm going to fight for.
Right.
If
something pop off, I'm going to take care of it. Yeah.
Man, hey, don't let the smooth taste fool you now.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, man, I think, don't get me wrong, man. Ain't nobody going to ever mistake OJ Simpson for stoking Carmichael. Nobody. Right. They don't even look alike. Nobody can say that. Absolutely. And OJ Simpson will never be misidentified in regards to the annals of history. But for this dude to be written off as a super sucker, I think is whack. Is that dude? No. But he's also
because we've allowed I keep saying we, I just mean society and portions of the society, but it's just we've allowed that to just be a cloud over his legacy. Why can't he have a legacy beyond the trial of the century? Yeah, he was still OJ in a path finder. He was still making those strides, and like I said, I don't think nobody can ever realize this, but he was famous on a spectrum of I want to be OJ. I want to be famous. I want OJ to be this entity. I want OJ to be a thing. I want OJ to be a process of being a stepping stone of being successful. And I mean, it became bigger than him. It became more than, and I think he maybe realized that on his last leg of his life. I mean, he knew he needed Twitter. I mean, he wouldn't be dropping dimes. He wouldn't be giving us, hey guys, it's OJ.
Hey, to the
he
world.
knew it. He knew what was going on. He got a whim of like, wait a minute, wait a minute. People are embracing me after my jail time. People are
Right.
wanting my information. I'm traveling. I got a book. So I think he also realized, like, man, this is coming full circle again for me.
Yeah.
If I
and he was so famous.
Yeah.
That everybody know if you ask 100 people,
right,
all from different ages, they would have a different reason why they know OJ.
Exactly.
And I think that I mean, he was just decades and decades. I mean,
because let's be honest, the ones that are probably having him on the radio and the podcast, he's famous because of the white Bronco. He's not famous because he's on NBC on the sideline. The juice is loose. No, he's not famous for that. He's not famous because of Hurts. He's famous because of the white Bronco in the 90s, the trial of the. That's why.
I'm laughing at what Al said.
What Al said. Hey, what's up, Al? We appreciate your recommendation.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Oh, wrong soundbite. I was getting that applause. And he said OJ was the only reason why I stayed on Twitter.
What did I just say? What I'm saying? And I think OJ realized that. I think OJ was like, wait a minute. OJ had a taste of fame. Fame is coming back to me after my jail period there that I had. But guess what? People want to hear from me. So I'm gonna be on Twitter.
And
I mean,
he's not being himself.
Tweets. He's posting videos.
I mean, he wasn't typing a lot. He would say when he was using it like a place to upload his videos, basically.
Yeah,
he probably
OJ was golfing, pulling up in the cart. Hey guys, hey OJ fans, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, he knew what was happening.
To the world. It's me, OJ. Like we know it's you, OJ. It's OJ Simpson.
Because OJ became this entity. He became this pop culture. OJ became this. Hell, OJ was on The Simpsons. Come on.
He was everywhere. He was everywhere.
The thing is, let's go back to the day before the murder, right? He was still the guy, man. OJ hadn't played since 78, 79.
That was 90.
It was 96. He's 15 years in, man. He was still the man.
He's still the man.
So, man, OJ Simpson was on the Jetsons. He was on the Flintstones. He was on all that, man.
They had versions of him.
You know, I mean, it's easy. You know, that's what we do in society today. We look backward with the 2024 mentality. Now you cannot look at 1978. You know, that's like
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Right. When you hear foolish dude talking about, I couldn't have been a slave. Yes, you could have.
Yeah, you could have, because you wouldn't have known any better.
Right. when your whole family are slaves and you know you can't get away or run anywhere, because not everybody is Nat Turner, okay? Let's stop with the games. Not everybody is Nat Turner. Not everybody is gonna raise up. So let's
You're gonna fall right in line just like the rest of them.
Right.
Everybody's gonna play until you got hit in the mouth.
If you didn't fall in line, hey, what you doing, Brian? Tell God I said hi.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We don't ask them more questions. We don't tell you once.
Right.
Yeah, you know, my grandfather said that all the time. How would you tell somebody with two black eyes? I was like, huh? What'd you tell somebody with two black eyes? I said, I don't know. He said, you can't tell them nothing. They've been told twice.
Right.
And that's one of them old men.
Got your eye.
Right. Look, man. And you know, the more we talk about this, man, the more I'm disappointed in myself. Because, you know, I'm one of the people that to this, I will go to my grave saying he didn't do it. You know, I mean, when you look at, everybody likes to look at the forensics of it, right? Okay. And that's surface level thinking. I want to know how, you know, without getting into the minutia of it, why do you just tell me why you feel that way? Don't tell me about, it's just like Trump supporters. Tell me why you like Trump and don't mention Joe Biden. Tell me, look at the
Good question.
detail of this,
Right.
and tell me how you think one dude, a 46, 49-year-old dude, I can't remember how old he was, killed 2 people in one night and walked away with a scratch on this hand. He didn't have any, and the other dude had bruises all over his knuckles. Let's just stop right there, and you tell me why you think he did. And most people can't. And we reduced this dude to an accusation, and we've called him sellouts. Shout out to Jay-Z. Jay-Z kind of popped at him at a song. And then when we found out later in life on Camden's show, he cleared it up. He said, yeah, I did say that. But he said, I said that in the midst of Johnny Cochran explaining to us the ramifications across Black America. He said, hey, I'm not Black. I'm OJ. Get me out of this.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Don't lump me into that statistic. Yeah.
Right. Don't put me in there. Let me get free, and then you can do all that Black stuff. Let me get that Black stuff at the crib.
Again, to H-Rap's point, I think OJ was creating something that transcended, you know, who he was in that name. He's like, I need to get out of here and make it. Like, if I can say, oh, we're going to go to the John F. Kennedy Center. John F. Kennedy has made a name. We must honor. It's like, this is the highest level of honor I can give you. So now it's like OJ's thinking, oh, if I can make a name that is recognized and transcend generations, hell, even if it's the OJ Center of being a halfback, if it's just a school about studying how to be a halfback, OJ wants to create that. And I think that's how he was. I think that's what he believed in. I think that's just something he said, like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm OJ, but I want to make sure OJ is something that is continued throughout generations.
Yeah. What's up, D. Greg? And it is. It's generation after generation. I mean, hell, my daughter will probably know OJ for a completely different reason. I don't know what it is. I mean, she'll know him from some other reason.
Probably OJ died of cancer, whatever. I don't know.
Hey,
but I mean,
on Wilkes' point, they took Reggie Bush Heisman Trophy down at USC, right? So Heisman Trophy still stands there. OJ Simpson.
OJ Simpson, thank you.
Yeah, which they gave it back. Now I don't know if they're gonna put this.
Reggie's will be back soon.
Yeah,
but they never took Juice's down.
We ain't gonna take this. We're not gonna take this person that's accused of murdering 2 people.
Like,
We're not gonna. But Disney over here takes Bill Cosby. We'll take the bust and the mold of his face. We'll remove him from the park. Again, like he said, to H-Rap's point and my point, it's like OJ was trying to make something that transcend the house that OJ built. We can't come against that. We can't.
Yeah, and we got D Great in the building. He's he lives in LA. I'm assuming you grew up in LA as well. With USC, they were really saying that was the house that he built, and they talked about the game USC versus UCLA. And I think this is a point that we've talked about in so many different films, documentaries we reviewed. 1940 to 1960, the population went up 600% for blacks in California, and his parents coming from Louisiana. So I mean, there was a lot of things that he's seen. Some people are. I've seen these things, and I'm going to continue to do the same thing. Some people see these things, and they're like, I'm not going anywhere near any of that. And I'm running the exact opposite way, and whatever I need to do to get me and my family out of this is what I'm going to do. And there's just 2 different trains of thought when that happens.
Yeah. And that's why I just refuse to lump him in with the sellouts and the coons and the suckers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even to me, it was like I said, OJ for me growing up is always going to be, yes, okay, he was already removed from football, but he's just going to always, even in acting, being funny and being on the sideline and being in commercials, being in anime, of course, different little animation things. OJ is gonna always, and even the trial of the century when I was in high school, OJ's just to me, he's just gonna be OJ that became bigger than what he expected.
Mm-hmm.
And even after his second jail time, or well, his first jail time,
Yeah, because
his first and last jail time,
right, yeah.
people wanted to hear from him. He
Yeah.
became people wanted him. Like I said, once again, I'm beating a dead horse. It was like radio interviews were lined up. His Twitter was ridiculous. Hell, I even followed him because I couldn't believe what was I was like, OJ, come on, man. You can't be saying that, OJ. Stop, man. You can't be saying that, man. But yeah, it was one of those things where you thought OJ would keep his head down, disappear, and go play golf because he loved golf. Nope, he didn't. He didn't keep his head down. Got him in trouble the second time, technically. And that second time just once again put him back into fame, put him back into the limelight. Yeah. Because OJ, they wanted more of OJ. They wanted OJ. It was just became more than what.
And I think in this, so this first part, this part one, was talking about kind of how great of a running back he was, and it talked about some of his childhood, his parents, and his branding and his marketing. And I've never seen an OJ game, but based on what they were saying, there was nothing like him at that present time. And that was after Jim Brown. Well, Gale Sayers was probably after Gale Sayers. So there was a lot of greats, and they were saying it was nothing like him. So that alone is amazing.
I will go as far as to say it's nothing like OJ to this day. Okay, you have I think like 6 to 12 people who rush for 2,000 yards, right? Mm-hmm. But they rushed for 2,000 yards in 16 games. OJ did it in 14. So we still ain't seen anything. And then everybody say it's fashionable to say, well, Barry Sanders did it without an offensive line, but Barry Sanders did it with Herman Moore and my man. I can't think his name. Brett Perriman. Yeah. Those are 2 Pro Bowl, all pro caliber receivers. It's kind of hard to focus on Barry Sanders when you got 2 dudes who will burn you deep.
Right. They're gonna torch you out there.
Yeah. Okay. Keep the box filled, and then so you can't name another OJ Simpson teammate ever outside of Al Cowlings. And the only reason you know Al is because he was driving the Broncos.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
because he's driving the Broncos.
Right.
Still to the middle, baby. Yeah.
Now, and he was the first one. He was the first one to do it. And real quick, I got it pulled up. Let's look at the 2,000-yard rushes. OJ, that was 1973. The next person was 11 years later, Eric Dickerson, which we've been talking about him, 2,105. Then Barry
Rams.
Yeah. Then Barry in 1997. And TD Terrell Davis in 1998, Jamal Lewis in 2003, and Chris Johnson 2009, Eric Peterson in 2012, and then Derrick Henry in 2020. So there's only I don't know how many I named. I think it's
6.
Yeah, so there's not a lot, and he was the first one to do it in 14 games. And in the last game, he needed. They said it in this part one. I think he needed
14 yards.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so we know you getting the ball. We know you're trying to do it, and you like
I'm doing it anyway.
He did against the Jets, didn't he? Was it the Jets game? Was it the game?
I think it was the Jets.
In the blood. But dude. And look, let's not forget this. Since we're talking about OJ in an iconic perspective, let's not forget this. OJ Simpson is a key component. OJ Simpson and Randall Cunningham's older brother, Sam Cunningham. Y'all have probably never heard of him. He goes by the nickname of Sam Bam Cunningham because he used to run into you and it was like, bam. You want to stop.
I've heard of the name. Yeah.
OJ Simpson and Sam Bam Cunningham. The reason the SEC is what the SEC is. Because at the time, Bear Bryant was the big rooster in the yard and wasn't nobody touching them. And they fooled around and went out west. Because they wasn't letting no brothers play in Alabama. They went out west, and Sam and OJ ran past them suckers so fast that Bear was like, we gotta get us some. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
We gotta get us some niggers over here. Come on over.
We gotta get us some
Darky,
niggers.
move over, white boy. Darky, come over here.
Right. We gotta get us some niggers.
What's that boy name right there? Yeah, Eldridge. Come here, man.
Right. Tyrone, come on over.
Yeah, Tyrone, come on over here.
Yeah, because they only had Chets and Bretts and Berries.
Right. Chet wouldn't get it.
Tyrone, some Laquans. And the
Barry
rest.
and Terry wasn't getting it.
Yeah, they wasn't doing that no more. So it's easy, it's easy to bury this dude in controversy.
Right.
It's easy to do all that.
Because that's the default.
At the end of the day, OJ Simpson is a pivotal. Yeah, he's a pivotal piece of the black diaspora.
Absolutely.
And I remember being a kid. Remember I told y'all they had the Black History things around the room. OJ Simpson was one of those pictures, man. OJ Simpson.
And he should. That's why I said just because. I mean, hell, just because he had this moment of, he got this dark cloud, he's got this bad, just everything looks bad. You cannot take away the legacy that he paved, that he started. You can't take that from him. But you'll sit up here and ride down the street. What's that?
And he was found not guilty.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, it's like, hey, even when I'm at this house right now where I live, like I always scream, can I live? Please, can I live?
And I think this goes back, which they talked about this in the part one, is that the first coach he had didn't run the ball. So and you think of his career really could have been over with. And then they get another coach that was a running coach. I think his name was Lou Saban. Lou Saban. Yep. Not related to.
Don't forget it. Not related to Nick.
Yeah, not related to Nick. But he had a mindset of running the ball. So when you have, and this was a parallel to when you have players at schools or in the NFL, and the system is not built for them, they're gonna be built to fail. And so when they got this new guy in, and the mindset was changed. And then it was over with. OJ was took over the league.
Yeah, he was doing his thing.
Oh man, it's just we allow people on a regular basis to define what we're looking at throughout all forms of entertainment. This guy isn't good because he's no Denzel. This is one of the things that annoys me. And this is a good movie. Dude can't act. He's pretty solid. He ain't Denzel Washington. Well, who is?
Well, who is? I mean, you gonna put him there.
This guy's a football player. He ain't Michael Jordan. Well, who is?
Right.
And so the standard, or is Michael Jordan the standard, or is he the exception? Because if he's the exception, don't put him in the equation. Is he better than Joe Dumars? Yeah, he better than Iceman Gervin. Yeah. What this man good did.
Right.
And everybody wants they wanted OJ to be Muhammad Ali. That ain't who I am, man.
That's
not.
But
I can't. They wanted him to catch out of the backfield. Yeah.
Right.
I ain't doing all that.
Why would you? Yeah, he's the coach. The first coach is trying to put him in positions to receive throws. Like, dude, that comes later. The NFL. That's not the NFL you're in right now.
He never did that. That was never a part of his game. At USC, they gave him the ball. And they said, "Get out of the way."
Yeah, I didn't train to catch the ball.
Hey, they literally have a
draw, damn it.
They literally have a play called student body left, student body right, meaning you guys run left.
You guys run middle right.
You running that way.
OJ gets the ball. Okay,
right.
Simple as that.
And I think it was one of the offensive linemen, or somebody said it was like he was running on air. I mean, I think that his talent was just nobody could compare to it. And he didn't seem like he was even running fast in these highlights. The highlights that were showing, but he was far past everybody.
Yeah, he was talking about full speed when he stepped to the left. I was like, they were talking about.
And this one when the fields was horrible. It was nowhere near what it is now. And if you was playing on turf, that was that thin stuff that you used to buy that you rolled up. They just rolled it across the road, a thing of concrete. So you was falling on concrete every time you was getting tackled. in the
stole that
Astrodome.
from the local park, man. It was trash.
Right.
Man.
That's
You
that
roll
fake
it out,
grass
boy.
under the swing set. That's what
Yeah,
they was playing on.
face mask and all. You pulling face with going down without a helmet.
You ain't lived until you slid on some of that stuff and get up. Look at your arm
Yeah.
because it's burning and it's
Yeah.
all white. And not
Right.
because you have a white shirt on. It's because
Right.
the skin has rolled up to your elbow.
Yep.
You might have a piece of grass along the way.
Yeah.
You good. Yeah, you good. Yeah. And then when
Yeah.
you get to that roll, you just pull that roll off because it's
Yeah, you just pull it
that
off.
roll off.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull it off.
What's up, Denise? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, Denise.
Yeah, man. This this part one, dived into a couple of his friends too. One of them was hold on, I'll put his name down.
Man, he out here stealing girls, man. Don't bring your girl around me.
Yeah. Right. And he was saying he was a great talker. And I mean, I think he was it's just that guy that's in the group. He's just the guy that's above everybody else, sees things before everybody else.
Excuse me, man. We have a picture at work, literally with Too Tall Jones and OJ Simpson. You can tell.
Yep. Right. And he was the guy from the beginning. And so it wasn't like he became something. He was the guy. Everybody has that. The guy at their school you knew was going pro. You knew it when you seen him. And you just knew it. He was that guy.
To your point, I mean, back then you made sure
the original Mr. Stereo Girl. Yeah, that's exactly what he was.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I mean, like he said, he was building a name that would transcend, and it was just like hell. Even if it was the OJ Hall of Learning, whatever the hell it was, he was trying to just create that thing that would keep going and keep going and keep going. And I think OJ realized, like, man, hey, I kind of if it falls on me to be good, and if I can, lend a hand here and say, hey, this is how I got here. Let me pull you up with me, or you go do your own thing. I think OJ I think he realized that, whether it be good or bad, but I think he realized.
I think it was Ron. Was it Ron Ship? Was that his other friend?
Ron Ship was his boy.
Yeah, and him and AC. I mean, they were when that was his closest friends. Yeah, that was really AC was really his friend from the beginning, and he even coached him up. How to talk to girls, how to
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
he probably helped them get into. I think he was at USC too.
Yeah, they were all at. Yeah, well,
he played with the Bills too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. This man goes down as a sucker.
That's what I'm saying. Man. Way too smooth. Yeah.
No, he's not a sucker, man.
No, he ain't no sucker, man. They just playing him like a sucker.
Right. I mean, let's just be honest, man. We'll talk about that in later.
They try to play him like a sucker because of what happened in the '90s in that run.
Right. But what about everything before then? Yeah.
Yeah.
What we've been saying all night. What about everything before then?
Exactly.
We never, we don't talk about everybody else past it, but I'm not saying, I'm not trying to gloss over the fact that he used to put hands on that woman. But
Absolutely.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. And I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying any behavior in regards to violence towards a physically inferior being, whether it be man, woman, child, elderly person, or what have you. I'm not saying it's cool. But look, man, that's your deal. You know what I mean? If NBC didn't have a problem with him, ABC didn't have a problem with him. He used to be on HBO on this show. I forgot the name of this TV show. He was on HBO. It was a comedy. It was cool. Yeah. I was rocking with him. So, it's easy to, man. Hey, OJ was a sucker, man. All he was around with white folks. Well, it's this other guy that everybody loves right today. I ain't seen him around a whole lot of black folks. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I ain't seen Mike around a whole lot of black folks. Right. You know what I'm saying? He'd be around Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, and I don't see him around a whole lot of black folks. You know what I mean? But and I'm not calling Mike a sucker. And maybe Mike got a whole lot of black friends that we don't see. But hey, man, where Mike lived in Chicago, boy, you find some black folks, they getting off work. You know what I'm saying? Right. They getting off work. So in Highland Park, and a whole lot of us there,
Right,
So
right,
I'm not really tripping. And then Mike, from what I hear, Mike a genuine dude,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna allow you to tell me that because this dude surrounded himself by round white folks, so he got caught up in that tidal wave of fame, and he got
Oh
that
yeah.
paper rolling through. There's a
Yeah.
whole lot of people in this world that, hey man, hold it. Now, Kid, come on through, man. I got a lick. That's
Right,
it's
right.
going
Yeah.
down.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And to exactly what you're saying, you had OJ and you had Ron. They were at this party. I think it was Rob Kardashian's house. And Ron comes up to him like, man, none of these people like us, man. We just here because we
Right.
jock, man. And he was like,
Yeah.
I know that. And I'm
Right.
OJ. So I don't care. So he knew it. It wasn't like
you here for the ride or not?
right. It wasn't like he was dumb. He knew it.
Yeah.
But he was
knew
like,
it.
in order for me to be a figure and for me to build my brand to the absolute highest, I gotta hang out with these people. Do I like them? No.
Right.
But I gotta hang out with these people.
Right. Absolutely.
And look, here's one thing to the testament of, again, why. Okay, Ron Goldman, the young man's father, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's angry today.
Oh,
you say OJ, he looking mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicole Brown's father, you've never seen him that mad.
That's true.
And I'm not
I don't
saying
know if I've ever seen him, period.
I don't know if I've
during
seen
the trial. Yeah.
And then you saw in this episode, he was telling his daughter, come get back with him. So he keep funding that paper to me, baby. That black guy ain't gonna do nothing.
He ain't that bad. Come on.
Give him some forget-me-nots. Yeah, come on.
Right.
Patrice Rush.
Hey, like we used to call it on the West Side, maybe nots. Maybe they go away where you want, but you're gonna be cool. You got this paper rolling through. And so I don't know, man. It make me wonder, because you put your hands on somebody I care about.
Yeah.
Man.
No
face
question.
to the Lord, butt to the earth.
Throw the chip in his lap. Yeah, tell the judge I did that. Yeah.
Right.
I gotta speak at this gun convention. All right, let's speak about gun control.
Right. Gun control means using both hands in my land.
Come on, man. Yeah.
But man, so this thing shows you how the machine of Hollywood will create a superstar. And when they get sick of you, they'll toss you to the wayside. OJ made sure.
Like
didn't do that.
And it's mentioned in here, like he said, he was looking at those Burt Lancasters that they were. That's what I'm looking at as an image of a superhero, an American hero, a name for itself. You're not gonna just toss me once I get old, like you just said. You're not. No. I'm like longevity. I need to create, like I said earlier, it's just something he's trying to create that transcend even him. When I'm dead and gone, they're gonna still be talking about OJ. OJ is gonna be seen regardless. I don't care if they make another documentary about me.
Right.
I'm going to transcend this thing.
Yeah. And he was, we've been talking about he was the first to get 2,000 yards. He was the first to get endorsements. He was also the first to decide, I don't want to be in Buffalo anymore. Y'all need to trade me. That wasn't going on during that time. Nobody thought about that. They were like, I'm just gonna stay here till my contract up. He was like, I need to get out of here. I don't know, what the whole conversation was, but the next year he was in San Francisco, so it wasn't like now that's the norm. James Harden don't want to be someplace. Trade me or I'm gonna get fat.
Well, Harden needs to retire probably, but I don't know what Harden doing, man. Harden needs to chill out.
Trade me or I'm gonna get that fat suit out again. So man, this dude was beyond his years, and they didn't see it during that time.
Right.
Now you see it now when you look back, because that stuff happens every single season now.
Yep.
They don't see it now though. Let's be honest. You see it, Ben. And I have this saying: stop putting your good sense in other people's head. Seriously, people don't see it now. OJ is this murderous sucker who pissed off the white folks, and look what they did to him. That's what most people think about OJ. And
absolutely. Yeah.
if you ever paid attention to that Cameron Mace show, OJ never stopped being hood. You know, you can see when he first got on there, they was laughing and joking. And once he got comfortable with them, he came right out that N-word bag, man. One time, man, I'm watching the show. I just used to watch it just because Juice was on there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Kate Mace or Cameron, but I'm like, let me see what Juice on there doing. Because actually, I was hating.
Right.
I was looking
Once again,
I asked Chunk to come on my podcast, and he never responded. Rest in peace. But OJ, they was talking about something. And Juice said, man, y'all show used early in the game. He was like, y'all show used to N-word a lot on here. By the time he was, maybe about a month before he died, you know what OJ said? Hey, man, even light-skinned dudes got to come out that nigga bag sometime. That's a quote.
I believe it. It's okay. I believe it.
You can think that man a sucker if you want to, man.
Yeah. Excuse me. He said at the age of 10, they were already hustling.
Yeah, and they were looking up to the pimps. I mean, he just knew, and this is we know what we know how to do very well is we know how to what is it, color code? What's
code switch?
Yeah, you
know how to code switch. We all know how to do it. Your work voice is not the same voice that you use with your boys or the people you went to high school or college.
That's exactly what I've always told my son. He'll be 20 this year. And I tell Andre, I was like, Andre, stop. I'm not stupid. I know how you talk around your boys at school, how you talk around me, how you talk around your mom. I've done it. My mom's done it. My mom's mom has done it. Stop. Don't give me your fucking bill collector voice. Bill collector call it. Stop. I don't want that. I'll give you $35 this week and pay up. Stop.
Right.
I need you to talk to me like you talk to your boys when you in that restroom at school or when you walking down the hall. Stop it. Talk to me like normal, bro. Stop it.
Right.
Don't give me this. Yeah, stop, man. Don't
give me that my heart.
Drive through shit. Yeah.
Hey, Wilkes, that warmed my heart, bro. You know why?
What's that?
One day, me and my son are very close. Y'all see me posting pictures of me and my man all the time.
Yeah.
And one day, when I think BJ, he's 30, he'll be 31 this year. So 10 years ago, 11 years ago, had that same conversation. He was at the crib, and he's letting profane, me and him talking, but profanity is going back and forth.
Right.
And then I stopped being his father. I mean, I went from being his buddy because I told him at 18, I said, look, I'm no longer your dad. So I'm your father now. I said, he said, what that mean? I said, you don't really have to do what I say anymore.
Right.
You
got a choice.
Yeah. Right.
You got a choice now. I said, yeah, you still stay with me, but you as long as you follow the rules, you don't have to do what I say. So now the profanity is flying. And I just said, like, hey, slow down though. You curse in front of your mother. He was like, you don't mind. I said, no, we don't do that. I say, me and you, we're men.
Just because she don't mind.
Yeah, that don't mean don't do it. I said, we're men. I say, around your mother, your aunts, your grandmother. I say, you curse in front of my mama, she gonna pop you. She's gonna pop you. So
it's so funny. It's so funny with H-Rap what he's talking about. It's like I told my son. My son, he's letting the profanity fly. And I was like, when you go to your aunt's house, because this was like Thanksgiving, Christmas, don't cuss at your aunt's house. I don't care. I don't even do it. It's just one of those things. Hell, I to this day, if I go back to my old neighborhood, if I get out of the car, I got neighbors right now that will put the beer behind their back. To this day. They whatever they're drinking, whether it's beer, straight liquor, they gonna put it behind their back and they gonna talk. Hey man, how you been? Because they don't want me to see what they're doing because that's just how I was raised in that neighborhood. It's just even though they know, hell yeah, I got a little salt and pepper in my beard. To this day, they are still putting the alcohol behind their back. I'm not stupid, but it's just one of those things where it's like to them, it's like, look, let me respect this. I don't want Junior doing what I'm doing out here. I got these demons. I got these ailments, so it's just one of those. I mean, hell, my mom can come outside and I'm talking to the neighbor across the street. they finna put that whole beer finna go
Yeah.
behind the tree or wherever it's going.
Hey, that's where the whole paper bag thing came from.
Exactly.
You don't need to know what this is. You don't need to know what this is.
You don't need to know what this is. Go on across the street. How your mama doing? Everybody good? That's
Right,
what it
right.
was. So
That's
yeah,
where,
no, to
that's
H-Rap's
where the
point,
paper bag came from. Yep.
yeah, and I just try to make my son, feel comfortable in those moments. And like H-Rap said, he's like, yeah, just because your mom is okay with it, but still, it's the respect of the matter. It's
Right.
the respect of the point at the end of the day. Yeah, you and I can do this because we're just men. Like, we're conversing like that. Don't take that to your mama house.
Yeah.
Don't take that. Change that. Don't take that to the doorstep. Because the minute you let one, because here's the thing, is the minute your mom get tired of your slip, your quick lip, and that, now I gotta hear about
Gonna call me. Right. She's gonna call me.
Yeah.
You're disrespectful. Now I gotta pop you.
Right.
Those are the rules.
Yeah. Like, man,
Yeah.
hey, chill out, man. Yeah. I
So,
understand.
yeah, man. So yeah, OJ, he was a good brother, man. I mean, he didn't do it the way we as the community or the culture,
Right.
we wanted him to do it, but
He had to do it his way.
yeah, it's different paths to the same point. The
Right.
point is a point of success, a point of comfort.
Right. And that's
know
why I
what I
said
mean?
when I watched this, immediately I thought about the Arthur Ashe documentary, and I thought about Louis Armstrong because
Mhm.
they did the same things. I mean, they came to those figures in OJ. It was like, hey, you see what's going on in Alabama and Mississippi, and
Right.
well,
I don't live there.
Right.
Right. Yeah. They came to him a couple times. Right.
Yeah.
The Watts riots. And this was when he was at USC, and it was like, yeah, that ain't nothing to do with me.
Right. And that was just down the street,
That was down the street.
I mean, SC is in the hood.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
He played in the chat room. SC down the street from his crib.
Right.
So,
And then the Olympics came up.
Right. Yeah.
So that there was, and they kept reaching out to him. One thing I'll say, the dude was consistent. There's some people that under peer pressure they'll go in and do something that they don't want to do.
Right.
He was consistent. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Right. Don't stop coming to me with this.
Right.
I'm out here with these white women. I'm getting this paper. I ain't trying to do that, man.
I'm in LA. Man, get out my face, man.
That's right. But hey, again, Dickinson. Remember that? Y'all remember that show, The Best Damn Sports Show, period?
Yeah.
Yep. I do.
This is when I knew OJ was sterile in every borough, man.
Yeah.
Dickinson was on there. He's supposed to be on there for one day.
Yeah.
He was on there Monday. And he was like, Dickinson, man, we ain't got nobody tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you going for a minute.
He came back Wednesday. Dick, what's up? He there Wednesday. Oh, okay. Thursday. He was like, okay, I'm there. Then the Thursday night show, he was like, Dick, you gonna come back, man? Make it a whole week. He's like, nah, man, I can't come. I got something to do tomorrow. And it was like, oh man, come on, man, what you got to do, man? You can just come on. And he was like, hey, I got done with OJ. And the whole it changed.
It was like,
and the crowd was like, oh, and he was like, hey, y'all got a problem with OJ. I don't. He ain't done nothing to me.
Right, because you painted him and you've taken that 90s trial of the century and threw a wide net over this man's career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Over his life.
Over his
life and his legacy.
Life, not career, but his life.
And like when we talked about when we talk about different people, how they're living multiple lives in one.
Mm-hmm.
This dude has lived at least 4 different lives, from football to acting to commentating to businessman. I'm sure he owned businesses and all that. To a social media influencer was his last life.
Yeah.
It is.
Who would have thought OJ? Yeah.
Who would have thought he would have been a social media influencer?
Man, you just triggered me. Think about it, man. Every time something was hot, Juice was at the front of it. College football about to take off. Juice wins the Heisman. Football is taking off. At the event of the Super Bowl, who's the face of the league? The Juice.
Yeah.
Football and TV are merging. The Juice is retired. Who's on TV? He was on Sunday afternoon football. He was on Monday night football. Then he gets in the world of trouble when court TV takes off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There was no court TV at that
No
point.
court
Right?
TV.
They
He
were
was
saying that was
hosting
one of the
on
first
TV.
trials that were ever televised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Man.
that's what I'm saying.
this man
He
gets
started
popped,
court TV.
and then this man gets popped and go to jail. While he in jail, social media takes off. He comes out and says, "Watch this."
Right.
Literally to the week he died. I'm on.
Right.
Look, social media pops off. He the face of social
It was perfect.
Man,
It was
900,000 supporters on Twitter.
Yeah.
Guess what?
I haven't unfollowed.
Karen Mace, get me on. Man,
Right.
get it, man.
I haven't unfollowed OJ. I still have him on Twitter.
Blue
X,
Streak?
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, OJ has, like I said, he didn't realize in the past how much he was speaking into the future. He transcended whether it be TV, Hollywood, commentary, cartoons. I mean, from the Simpsons to the Jetsons, the Flintstones. I mean,
This man
he-
is fucking man.
yeah, he was already front and center. It was,
Yeah,
I'm
and
OJ, man.
he lived this Owl's comment. He lived 5 lives, spent 9 years as a philosopher in prison. So like even with the 9 years in that trial, that period of the trial, he wasn't doing a lot during that moment.
Of course.
But I mean, the guy just reinvented himself at every moment, even when he was playing. And they interviewed him, and he's like, "Yeah, I know I can't do this forever." How many players really think like that? I can't do this forever. I'm already seeing that there's an avenue for me to commentate because the guys in the booth right now, they probably haven't. Most of them didn't play football. I got a completely different perspective than the guys in the booth right now, which was probably what he was thinking.
I mean, there was a comment made earlier in the not earlier, but in the documentary. I think one of his friends said I knew the football career wasn't going. OJ knew the football career wasn't going to last forever. OJ was already reinventing himself, and that's why I said, who would have heard of Hurts? I mean, Avis was around by that time, but Hurts, all of a sudden, Hurts became so huge. It was just like, man, we got OJ, man. OJ jumping over suitcases and running through the airport.
Hey, OJ.
Yeah.
Go, OJ, go. They had old ladies, little kids.
Yeah. Come on, man. He's the biggest thing in the U.S. right now, the biggest thing outside of sports. It's OJ, man. And he looked like he may have retired. He looked like he left sports pretty young, though. He
got beat to sleep, boy. That boy was beat down. There wasn't no Barry Sanders retirement. No, that
it looked like from the video. Hey, man, for me, it assumed that, but I was like, yeah, he probably already up in age,
Oh no, that man got one of them Earl Campbell retirements. Like I can't outrun my
running
wife.
in the ground.
Right. I can't outrun my wife tonight.
Both legs.
No.
So yeah, 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
10 years. 1969 to 1979.
Right.
He was
Eddie
done.
DeBarlo gave him his last check.
Oh, that's big enough. 1960. That's a big run, though. 1969 to 79. That's huge.
Think about it like this.
Years.
See, we don't look at OJ statistics as stupendous now because the 16th game actually.
But back then, it was a lot.
Now, look at it this way. OJ Simpson was running up on Jim Brown when he retired.
Yeah.
He was about to. If he would have been able to stay healthy, he would have broke Jim Brown's record. So that's what people need to realize. OJ Simpson almost broke an insurmountable record in 10 years. Jim 79. Jim is a different beast. Jim Brown is Jim Brown. Yeah. But put like this, man. OJ was the boy to the point where Jim Brown didn't like him, but he respected him, right?
Yeah.
But while we dissing, and I hate to say this, man, because Jim Brown is the guy, right?
Right.
Jim Brown used to put. This is how famous Jim. Look, this is how dope it was. I mean, it's kind of horrible for me to say it was dope but he had Jim Brown. I almost don't want to tell this on air, but Jim Brown was popping this white woman so hard.
Oh,
One night, she jumped off a 2-story balcony.
I've heard something like that.
Okay, she told the police she jumped off a 2-story balcony.
Yeah,
That's all I'll say. She
Yeah.
told the police that.
right.
That's not allegedly. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And off air, I got a story for y'all that my homeboy told me directly with Jim Brown. It's hilarious and it involves potential violence as well, but I can't tell it live.
Can't tell it on air.
But
Hey.
so stars got away with whatever they wanted to get away with back then. So yes, I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Hey, RC go. RC went ahead and said it.
I was gonna say I heard it differently. Like he threw her ass off.
Yeah. Hey, what's
But
up?
she
What's up,
told
RC?
the police, "Hey,
Right.
I jumped." She told
Damn right she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Brown. He
Hey,
talks to your ass.
RC coming through in the clutch, man, with the well needed information. Always,
Right.
man. Always coming through.
Yeah.
What's up, Keisha? Thank you for tuning in. She said, fellas, thank you. All right, so part one was basically kind of the beginnings of at USC. They talked about the Watts riots. They talked about the boycotting the Olympics. They talked about his dad, which they'll talk about that more. It's growing up, and then he started to go into acting. So that was kind of the end of part one. Part two, which we'll review next week. OJ sits out the racial tensions overflowing in 1990s LA in his exclusive Brentwood mansion, cultivating a perfect image built atop a foundation made of secrets and lies. That is a description of part two. And we're going to see that young man that he talked to. He's going to come up later on in this series. So be on the lookout for that. And this is available on Netflix. You can check it out there. Let's get into some final thoughts. Yeah, y'all want to do a mic rating each part, or just do it at the end?
Wait.
Yeah, I say we wait. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get some final thoughts on this first part. We're gonna go to Wilkes first.
For me, growing up, like I said, OJ was already well past his football career, but he was into his entertainment movie career life kind of thing. Just kind of, it's OJ. We got to book him. I enjoyed this, so it was new for me. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I knew it was significant. I think after living through that trial in the 90s and I won't forget, like they pulled us into the high school library to watch this thing.
Yeah. They rolled the TV into the classroom.
Yeah. So they had us in the library. So it was one of those things where I got to the point where it was just like, man, just let this dude live, man. So no, I enjoyed this. It gives me more info. I don't really need more information about how they think they felt about OJ. But just saying the legacy part, because I didn't know that part. I didn't know about the football, the college career, and hell, even some of the first movies that they were talking about he was in. But so yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the rest of it, and RRP.
Definitely. Let me see. RC says, I was shocked when I heard about his dad in part one. I was too. Which his dad, we can go ahead and say it, his dad was gay. He didn't really talk about it a lot. Him and his friend Ron, they kind of had Ron seen it, and they didn't really talk about it until they ended up laughing later on about it when they were driving off. But so which I think they're going to talk about his relationship a little bit further with his dad, but it seems like his dad was gone, and it was a single mom situation. The trial damaged his legacy significantly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It definitely did. It definitely, and it took a toll on him, obviously, and the whole Kardashian family.
Because when
that
the trial
messed
started,
up the dad a lot.
When the trial started, I felt like wasn't he still working for NBC? I thought he was still working for NBC when the trial started.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's not loud.
Yeah.
So man, they're further along. They're gonna get heavy into that, obviously. different interviews that they'll have and stuff like that. So definitely be. And AC is in this. So the guy driving the Bronco is in this. And he
Bronco
had
Peter.
and his initial, and I'll go to you, A-Trap. His initial like thoughts on OJ was like, yeah, this dude can get out of anything. Like I've seen him get out of anything. And that was the first thing he said.
Thanks, AC.
So you knew, like, you know that these different AC interviews and clips is going to be,
Thanks, AC. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so that's documentary.
Hey, that's a sucker.
Right. Yeah.
Snitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut up, man.
Let me get to this question. He said, y'all remember the book Mobiles? The very first book I bought. I do remember that. Which they still we had
oh God,
the Scholastic.
What was it called? Hold on 1 second. I want to see if she's talking about the same one. OJ Simpson, How a Rookie Gets Rich, or something like that. The Path to a Rookie Getting Rich. Is that the book you talking about, RC? Because it just had him on it.
I think so. That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's the one. Wow.
Yeah.
I had that.
We had the Scholastic Book Fair. I don't know if you remember that, Wilkes.
Oh yes, we have that.
Still to this day, they just had one a couple of weeks ago at my daughter's school. So hey, Scholastic been grinding it out, man.
They've been grinding forever.
They like the East Bay.
the East Bay of books. Yeah,
the East Bay of books, man. They've been on
that one slip of paper.
Right, exactly. And the thinnest piece of paper made out of cardboard or that construction paper. I wonder how much did Ford make on the Bronco after that chase? It's unimaginable.
It's probably disclosed. They don't talk about it.
It said, I don't remember, but it could have been that one. Yeah. All right, final thoughts.
Not that Bronco, but we have a white Bronco in the garage.
Yeah. Hey, they had enough money to come back.
Yeah.
They had that money under the mattress and they was ready to bring that Bronco back.
Right.
I thought I was like, man, I should get me a Bronco and make my family place.
Do it.
DAJUICE.
Oh yes, we still have bookwear.
Oh yeah. Those not going away, man.
Going away time soon. My daughter just had one a few months ago.
Yeah. My son's school just had a book fair. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Hey, that's when you get when you get that book you wanted. Right. You come home, man. It's nothing like that.
It don't matter.
It's similar to buying a Nintendo game. Right. When you buying Zelda when it first came out. Your parents driving you to Toys R Us to get Zelda. That's exactly what that book fair was like, man.
Exactly.
It's Education of a Rich Rookie.
Okay.
But still, I remember the books though. I remember that. Take me back. Oh God. Jeez. They would be on the damn book spindle. You walk over, you're like, what's this? OJ?
Hey man, I actually like this better the second time I watched it, because you watch this type of documentary and it's 6 parts, you ain't gonna watch it 3 or 4 times.
Right.
But this time around it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it more because I remember watching it with a different frame of mind. But this time I watched it, I enjoyed it. Shows you the rise and fall and how, at the end of the day, when you live in a capitalistic society, what happens is we're going to introduce you to the world. Mm-hmm. We're going to put you into a certain point. And if you don't know how to handle that fame, or if you don't know how to handle your finances, you'll crash and burn. And Juice said, no, I won't. So, shout out to Juice, man.
Yeah, and if you slip up, it's over for you. I mean, we see that story all the time. But when I first watched it, and it was a 5-part series, we weren't doing the show at that point. But now, fast forward to now, I'm like, this is what A-Trap's talking about, man. You cannot get an OJ in a 2-hour documentary. You have to break this up because this guy has lived so much life and impacted so many different areas and arenas that you got to break this up. So I think the first one was great. I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching each one of them. There's things I remember, some things I don't, but I think it shows the full person of OJ, not just let's just get to the trial part, because the dude lived a lot of life before that.
Yeah, absolutely, like it was just mentioned in the comments. The trial pretty much just you guys corrected it. It just put a blanket over his entire life. Like it just swallowed it up. Like it didn't mean anything. Like it just this blemish.
Yeah.
That
And when this came out, I think this might have been early on when they started the 30 for 30s. This was the best one, I would say, probably to The Last Dance. Those are really the only two 30 for 30s I really
been that big. Yeah, they've been that big.
And I don't know if that was I don't know if that was a 30 for 30 or not. That might have been a
Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
Yeah,
I think that
was 30. Yeah, I think it was. I think it falls into the category.
Yeah. It was 30 for 30.
But yeah, it was. I mean, this is one of the best, man. They did a great job. I think it was done by Ezra. I don't remember what his last name is, but
because he got an Oscar for this.
Yeah. The guy's name. Let me put some respect. Ezra Edelman was the guy, and he did one hell of a job, man. And this was again when OJ was in jail, so it wasn't like you had. I don't know if I'm assuming probably towards the end they do some sit downs with him, but this is this was at a time where OJ's light was kind of dim, so this probably helped OJ out again. This was another opportunity for OJ, man. At every turn, every time you watch it, you'll get something different each time.
Absolutely.
What's up, Big Illy in the building? Thank you for tuning in.
What cigars in the picture, man?
What's up, son?
Last Dance, OJ Doc, the U. That was a good one too. I mean, that whole era of that era of college football is nothing like it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Football.
Those times won't be recaptured.
Never.
Yeah,
they won't be recaptured.
No. All right, so tomorrow on Queen 3 and King, there will be a replay. The Stars play game 1 of the second round. So Doc will be at the game. So we'll have a replay of Queen 3 and King. And Thursday, I'll be at the game. So we'll be going alternate days, tag teaming, getting some of that.
Give me a hockey puck, man.
Content.
Go down to the store. Give me a hockey puck, man. Go down to the store and give me a hockey puck.
I got you. We'll definitely make that happen. So yeah, end of the bench tomorrow.
I'm gonna do something about you can't believe 50%. You can only believe 50% of what you see and nothing that you hear. The media, media is playing a game at this point. One of the things that the media, one of the games is playing, and we're really looking at a repeat of Mein Kampf. We are literally watching World War II reenact itself. The tactics of one Adolf Hitler, and the media is defaming itself. You have people defaming the media, and you have people playing right into it, and nobody's checking it. At some point, at one point, we had editors, and you had standards and practices. But now you don't have. It seems that thing only exists when you are housing and politicizing people that look like me and you, or you and I, us three, and the people who support us. We're not getting the truth. When you look at last week, the Palestinian supporters attacked the Israelis, and they said they're fighting. No, they got attacked. It's not I'm not wrong when I'm defending myself. When you see young men in our community get gunned down by police officers, young women getting gunned down by police officers, and they're just saying, they're giving us erroneous, what they perceive as fact. They're offering their opinion and commentary when they're supposed to be reporting on a story, whereas you're being neutralized. I blame Clayton Powell's son, Colin Powell's son, when he took away the media standards in 1992. So, now you remove NBC, CBS, ABC, GN, and CNN. Those things were partially funded by the United States federal government at one point. When you took that government regulation away, it's an open-ended situation. So
the weirdest thing I've seen lately is 1 minute you're on Fox spewing all this bullshit, and you get hired by CNN.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, but you were just over here spewing this shit. Now you
right.
So yes.
No standards at all.
No.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about how those things are filling the streets with foolishness and tomfoolery. And ironically, we're doing this because we have minimalized this man's life to an accusation. Because at the end of the day, and then people don't, and we'll get into what I'm about to say later on in the viewing of this documentary. He was found guilty in a civil case. Well, I need you to understand a civil case and a court case, reasonable doubt versus a preponderance of evidence. I could stack up a lot of stuff to make you look guilty, no matter if you're guilty or not. And then people will go, he did it. And
He's the ultimate scapegoat.
Right. Reasonable doubt is something else. And again, we'll talk about that later. And I'm gonna send you a video then of this one guy. I need us to watch that video that I'm gonna send you. Just play it on the show so people will see it. As we get into the trial, I want you to play that video because it's insane. It's insane. And this is something that was spoken about during this period and came to fruition back in 12. Nobody talks about it. So this is what we're up against.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, Fox News has said it. This is entertainment. We are not. We are not a news station. This is entertainment. Right. And you think of the character. It's literally characters on there. You think of the Tucker Carlsons and the Hannigans and all that. They're characters. They might as well be doing WWE commentating.
Right. Exactly.
You're a character. You're not a news anchor or a. It's not even a news station.
It's like deductive reasoning does not exist anymore.
Yeah. It's just say what the wildest possible thing you can say. And before people would say, that don't make any sense. Like let's just overlook that. Now people are like, no, that let's just gravitate to it and make up even more of a rabbit hole.
Let me fact check that.
No, there's no fact checking going on. There's just taking
your
word.
Hear what they said on the show last night? Yeah, that kind of
taking your word.
It's no longer, what was his name? Bernard Shaw. This ain't Walter Cronkite. This ain't Ted Koppel anymore.
Right, exactly.
Right. The ones that really kind of, at least they gave a significant way to present. When your new Nightline came on, you watched it in a sense of like, okay, this is what I'm getting. This is Peter Jennings. This is Walter Cronkite, whoever.
Right.
This is what I'm getting. Now it's like, oh, I don't know what the hell.
You don't know what. Yeah, you know what you.
They skate around in circles like Peggy Fleming instead of putting words together like Peter Jennings.
Man, come on, man.
All right.
So,
yep. So coming up next week, Made in America Part 2. We'll be back. Go ahead and close us out, Trap.
Y'all already know, man. It's the beginning of the month. You know I'm broke. So if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Him upstairs. Peace.